Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'd like to talk to you today about the strategy I use when dealing with a Myasthenia Gravis disability case. I recently had a case involving Myasthenia Gravis with a client, a 48-year-old woman, good work history. And Myasthenia Gravis is an autoimmune disease, frequently affects vision, although it can affect other parts of the body. In my client's case, it affected her vision. And what was happening was that she started noticing several years ago some drooping in her eyelids. Then she noticed increased sensitivity to light. Then she found she was having double vision, where she just could not see. As a result of the double vision, she was getting severe, intense, constant headaches from this. It's a condition that sometimes waxes and wanes. So when she's having a really bad episode, her vision gets really, really bad. There are other times when she can see reasonably well. But what had happened by the time she stopped working was her condition was getting more and more frequent. It was being brought on by stress. It was brought on by basically having to look at a computer screen and so forth. So by the time she stopped working, she basically was working kind of at a supervisory, a manager at a medical clinic, and got to the point where she just could not keep her eyes open. The headaches were really too bad for her to perform, and so she stopped working and filed for disability. And so when I looked at the case, what I saw really positive about this particular case was she had a really, really strong work history, and her jobs were, what the pattern was that she would start out kind of as let's say as a receptionist, then she worked her way up to being a clinic manager. She had been, another job she'd worked as a packer, and she ended up being kind of a senior packer with some supervisory duties over other people. And that really showed the trend that she was a hard worker and that she was the type of person that would take on responsibility and did it really pretty well. So that was a really positive thing for that case. She also had consistent medical treatment from her doctor. The doctor was not really willing to go on record to say she was quote-unquote disabled, but the doctor did indicate that through the ongoing treatment that she was having more and more episodes of the Myasthenia Gravis, and that the spells were getting, again, closer together and more severe. So I thought that was really going to be enough. And so really what I was focusing on was getting my client to identify the number of times during the course of a week, for example, that she would have a bad spell, or even the course of a month. So we were trying to show frequency. I had her testify about the duration, how long her episodes would last. In this case, it would last anywhere from a few hours to a few days. But on average, what she testified is that at least every 3 weeks she was having an episode where she would be for 3 or 4 days unable to keep her eyes open, or she was experiencing very bad double vision, and then as a result of that she would have severe headaches 3 or 4 times a day when she was having these spells. And if you think about it, her capacity now was that at least every 3 or 4 weeks she was going to have 3 or 4 days where she would not be able to work because of vision issues and because of headaches. She also testified that she had intermittent headaches otherwise, and I think that we presented on as what they call prima facie case, a pretty strong argument that my client's vision and her inability to keep her eyes open or get through the day without these severe headaches was enough to keep her from performing reliably at any kind of work. And the judge really didn't say very much. It was a judge I'd been in front of before, but he listened, he asked a few questions, and then he turned to the vocational witness and asked a hypothetical question, and basically said that if this individual would not be able to perform any kind of work on unprotected heights or needing balance or dangerous machinery and can only be around or handle large objects. Based on that, the vocational witness said the claimant could go back and could not do previous work, but there were some entry-level type of jobs, a motel cleaner, a cafeteria attendant that she could do. But then the judge said, well, if we add to that hypothetical that she has severe headaches at least, let's say, every 3 weeks that last 20 to 30 minutes, where she cannot do any kind of work, this would be an unscheduled break, so that might happen 3 to 4 times a day. Based on that, would there be any kind of work she could do? And the vocational witness said, no, there's no kind of work she could do. I asked kind of a similar question, but instead of headaches, I asked about double vision or blurred vision or her eyes being closed, and that would happen for up to 3 days a month. That would be 4 to 6 hours a day, which again was part of what my client had testified to. The vocational witness said, well, based on that, there's really no work this person can do. So I think the key in a myasthenia gravis case, besides the normal of having a good work history and consistent treatment, but the medical records really need to show that the condition is getting worse, that it's not responding to any kind of treatment, and that the symptoms that are typical of myasthenia gravis, again, especially if it's visual, sensitivity to light, double vision, eyes drooping and being closed, that's going on, that it's getting worse, and that as a result of that, the headaches, again, would go along with that for a specific period of time, and again, maybe it's once a week or once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month, whatever, and it lasts for 3 or 4 days, or it lasts, if it's every week and it's 3 or 4 hours, but you want to put some real specific times to the episodes. You don't want to say it happens frequently, it happens a lot, or it seems like it's all the time. You want to be very, very specific. And I think that if you're really specific, if the medical record is consistent with the specificity of your allegations, then you've got a good chance at showing the judge that despite your desire to work, you just can't keep your eyes open, or the headaches are just too bad that you can't focus and concentrate, and the medical record is entirely consistent with that. I think judges are receptive to autoimmune type of diseases, but again, they want to see specific medical evidence, and they want to hear testimony that identifies times, dates, distances, that type of thing, and really stay away from all the time, or not very much, or not very far, that sort of thing. So if you can be real specific, I think a judge will be receptive to it, and you identify very clearly what the implications of your condition are and how they affect you on a weekly, monthly, daily kind of basis, you've got a good shot at winning. That's how I approach myasthenia gravis cases. I was successful in this case, and I'm hoping that future cases will have the same type of results. So this is Jonathan Ginsberg. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.